Hey guys, we got a lot of energy to talk about this weekend. Let's get into it. First of all, we have the sun leaving the sign of Virgo this weekend, entering the sign of Libra. This is going to bring a palpable energetic shift, and the focus of energy is now going to change for the next 30 days while the sun transits the sign of Libra. Now, before this happens, though, on Friday, we actually have a T-square setting up in the sky between the moon and Sagittarius, the sun in Virgo, and Neptune in Pisces. This is not the weekend for any type of big decision making. This could be some confusing or disorienting information, could be sort of low energy as well, and it could really have us questioning ourselves, questioning reality, and not knowing what to believe at this point. So we're going to want to hold off on any important decisions, choices, investments, at least in the energy on Friday. Moving into Saturday, though, this is the day when the sun enters Libra, and we also have a grand trine and earth signs playing out with the moon in Capricorn, Mercury in Virgo, and Jupiter in Taurus. This could be some good news, some very positive ideas. Things are likely to go well. People are likely to generally have a very positive attitude and outlook about things. And this could also be some big information, significant messaging that sort of has like everybody talking, can't look away. There's a mental and emotional alignment in some type of an expanded way with something that we are learning, something that we are discovering, something that we are gaining an awareness about or talking about. Could be related to the past as well. And there could also be themes having to do with money, value, investments, and stuff like that playing out. Now, I will say another major dynamic of the energy this weekend could be sort of like upsets in relationships or relationship wounds, where we've been hurt in the past, previous heartbreaks coming up. And, it could be on one hand for the purpose of helping us to heal in some way, but on the other hand, we are moving into this energy of sudden upsets and changes in relationships. So it could be acting as somewhat of a catalyst for some necessary relationship changes that universe is calling for right now as well. So all that being said, you guys, we got a lot more to talk about. Let's get into our report of the weekend. Let's look at this energy in some more detail, how it's coming together, and where it's moving us as we head towards next week. Welcome back to my channel, you guys. Today is Friday, September 22nd, 2023. My name is Aubrey. This is your astrological outlook of the weekend, where we are narrating the shift of the ages. On this channel, we are talking about the astrology and the transits and the aspects and what they might mean for us in our day-to-day lives. But we are also keeping in mind that we are currently in a very significant transition of ages, and the subtle changes that are happening on the day-to-day are actually, at this point in time, playing a very significant and large role in that transitional process. So we are monitoring the astrology in that context as well. That being said, let's get into our astrology of the weekend. We are starting on Friday, September 22nd. We have a lot going on this weekend, you guys. There's a variety of aspects playing out that could be presenting in various ways. We start the weekend on Friday in some very sort of wishy-washy energy. I'll put it that way. We may have a very hard time getting a grasp or a grip on reality, on what's happening. Our energy could feel really low. We might feel unmotivated, okay? And that is because we have a T-square that is playing out in the sky in mutable signs between the sun in Virgo, Neptune in opposition to that in the sign of Pisces, which is energy that we've been dealing with all week. So by the time we get to Friday, we're probably quite accustomed to this energy, and it actually is breaking apart. The sun has moved on from the opposition to Neptune, and by the time we get to Friday, we do have a 3-degree orb between these planets, but it's still a 3-degree orb between the planets, which is a very tight aspect and opposition still. And the moon transiting Sagittarius will come to the late degrees, the end degrees of Sagittarius, and form a T-square between, as I said, the sun and Neptune, and also the moon and Sagittarius. So we've got both luminaries in harsh aspect to Neptune on Friday to start our weekend. And this is just a generalized recipe for not really knowing what's going on. This is energy where we don't want to believe anybody. We don't want to listen to anything that anybody says. We don't want to really trust anything that anyone has going on or that anybody's presenting. We don't really want to be buying what anybody is selling. We don't really want to be taking other people's opinions and projections too much to heart about stuff. Seeking connection with a higher power and kind of seeking a broader perspective and maybe the bird's eye view of things. This is probably where we we are likely to have our most success in the energy on Friday. However, even with the moon being in Sagittarius, really seeking on an emotional level sort of the higher perspective, or elevating ourselves maybe out of these issues that are playing out on the ground, it's still likely to not really clear things up for us that much. So this is just going to be a good day to kind of like disconnect from, what's going on if possible. This is not a great day for, meetings or investments or like important phone calls and stuff like that, like appointments. If you can not do it on Friday, it's probably going to be in your best interest. If you have to do it on Friday, again, like not taking anything too seriously, not getting too attached to people's ideas or perspectives or opinions about stuff. Really, like nobody is seeing things truly clearly, and people are just sort of in la la land in a lot of occasions. Be careful driving as well. People just may not be paying great levels of attention, and again, not the time to make commitments, not the time to make decisions. This is giving vibes of being sort of suspended and like suspended animation, kind of like caught maybe in disbelief about things as well. Reality stranger than fiction, and like, oh God, I didn't think this could possibly be true. Like, I was pretty sure about this, but now that you bring this to my attention, I'm starting to think that this was true the whole time, and that was never actually real in the first place, type of thing. Like, total brain scrambling stuff could be going on. And like, it's just like, I honestly don't know what to believe. That, I have a feeling, is going to be a commonly repeated quote in the energy on Friday, and honestly, probably this entire week. It's like Friday is really sort of emphasizing the Sun-Neptune opposition energy that we've been dealing with all week. So it's like, it's nothing really new. It's just sort of enhancing maybe like the murkiness or the fogginess, or just the inability to have a clear idea of what's going on that maybe we have been dealing with throughout the course of the week. However, it's interesting because as we move out of this energy on Friday and we move into the energy of Saturday, which I'll get to in a little bit, we have this big eye-opening moment. We have this, and it's not even just like on a mental level. It's like a mental and emotional fusion with this greater perspective, with this higher vantage point, with this broader understanding, with this greater, higher level of truth, or a greater alignment with, or even like our higher selves. Okay, so whatever confusion or disorientation or suspended animation we may find ourselves in on the energy on Friday, it's sort of like, hold that thought, don't act on that, don't be demoralizing to yourself. This is more that energy that can be more depressing. We can feel like we're not good enough. It can really like make our weaknesses kind of like glaring to us. It can shake our faith in ourselves and our ability to be like effective and assertive and to, accomplish our goals in the world as well. Because we're talking about the sign of Virgo, right? This is the harvest. This is being productive. This is like our efforts paying off. Opposite Neptune and Pisces. This is like our hard work coming to nothing in a way that's discouraging and we don't understand. And then with the moon there in the square, this can be like also like shaking our faith about stuff, or, making us question our belief in ourselves, or just bringing up issues with self-confidence and our ability to, trust ourselves and the higher plan and stuff like that. But we don't want to attach to this energy. When Neptune is operating, there's always a layer or a level of illusion. And I feel like, remember, Neptune is retrograde right now as well. I feel like the weakness or the fears or the insecurities or the feelings of like self-doubt, questioning ourselves, questioning our abilities to, perform or to succeed or to produce or to, make something happen for ourselves in this earth sign Virgo energy, whatever way that manifests for us, whatever, inability we feel to do that in this energy. I do feel like, again, that is more of the illusion that is being presented for us to either see through it, discover that it was never real to begin with, and find the real power within ourselves to sort of overcome that type of thing. Or it could be showing us where past beliefs, things that we believed in the past, have somehow been limiting us somehow, or keeping us detached from our own personal reality or our own personal truth in some way that we need to move towards or awaken to right now. We are moving through a portion in time and space right now, you guys, where we are being called to awaken from any type of dream state or any type of slumber that has prevented us from seeing the truth of our purpose, the truth of our potential, and really, understanding our role that we are to serve throughout the course of this lifetime as we are transitioning ages into the age of Aquarius, and universe is trying to essentially activate the destiny of the planet to help us move along in that direction according to this universal blueprint that is unfolding at this point in time, and all of us being incarnate souls anchoring this new energy through this transitional process. We got to get it together, we got to figure it out, and anything that is keeping us either in these states of like not perceiving ourselves or reality clearly, or kind of like detached from the truth of our purpose, or the like redefining the truth of our identity in alignment with that like internal knowing and higher purpose that we're being called to right now. These are the relationships and these are the circumstances that are about to go through some sudden reorganization, okay, as we move through the rest of the cycle, the Libra cycle, and through the winter towards next year. So we do have some very sort of all over the place energy. And again, you know, as we're starting this weekend, Friday, this is the day to sort of take a step back, you know, maybe just try to relax, not to be too hard on ourselves, not have too many expectations of ourselves or other people. And it's just a good day for maybe some introspection and, you know, trying to get reorganized, trying to, you know, maybe some soul searching and stuff like that. Good energy on Friday. But when it comes to understanding other people or what's going on around us, not the best day, okay? But moving into the energy of Saturday, this is going to change. Now, another thing that we need to talk about just sort of generally throughout the course of the weekend is we have a strong Chiron influence going on. And we're going to be talking about this throughout the rest of the report here and there. But, and actually, we're kind of moving into a time right now when the Chiron energy generally and archetypes and themes are going to gain a greater prominence and become more palpable and meaningful in our experiences. Not only are we moving towards Libra season, okay, and currently we have Chiron in the sign of Aries, so there's going to be a lot of planets coming into opposition before too long with Chiron, which is going to put an emphasis on Chiron, which is actually happening this weekend as well, by the planet Mars, and we're going to be talking about that. But we also currently have the north node of the moon transiting the sign of Aries. So we're going to have a north node Chiron conjunction. The north node, this is on a collective level where we are growing and evolving, like in terms of the next phase of growth, the next lesson plan of our souls, again, on this more collective level. With the north node transiting the sign of Aries, this is a period of time where we are all being called into some type of personal leadership era, okay? And with Chiron transiting the sign of Aries, this is a period of time where we are going to have to deal with some old wounds that have kept us trapped in states of victimhood, that have prevented us from being sort of like the hero in our own story, or from embracing a more leadership attitude in regards to the ongoings in our own lives. We are going to be going on sort of like a hero's journey towards self-mastery, overcoming states of victimhood, overcoming weaknesses, and gaining confidence that we didn't know we had to do things more independently over the course of this next year and year and a half, actually, with the North Node transiting the sign of Aries, although we are already a bit in this energy, so this is what we're dealing with for about the next year. And it is, again, like calling us all to sort of awaken to our own personal power, our true identity, what we really have within us, like the courage, the confidence to activate our destiny, right? To go on this personal mission in correspondence also with the transition into the age of Aquarius, which is also really calling us along this same path as well. So our transition into the age of Aquarius at this point in time is really being assisted by the transit of the North Node through Aries. And as the North Node comes into a closer and closer proximity with Chiron, also in Aries, this hero's journey, where we've been wounded, where we've experienced trauma, the impact that it's had on us, but also the wisdom that we've gained through those experiences, and how we can use the wisdom that we've gained through those experiences to heal ourselves, to release ourselves from cycles associated with that trauma, and to, you know, really gain a greater sense of self-mastery over our lives, over our experiences, and over the essentially like trajectory of our lives going forward, no longer being caught in loops of self-sabotage based on unhealed trauma within us and the victim complexes that arise and the subconscious programming that results because of those initial trauma and wounds. So as a result of that, There is likely to be, some old wounds. We also have Chiron retrograde right now that are really surfacing this weekend and heading through the Libra cycle. And honestly, like I said, into the energy of the fall, the winter, and next year as well, with this North Node Chiron conjunction coming up. This is a lesson that we are all dealing with in terms of gaining, again, a greater sense of self mastery over some component of a previous experience that has hurt us somehow. Now, why this is significant this weekend is because on Sunday, we are actually going to have an exact Mars Chiron opposition going on. We've also got a Capricorn moon, which is forming a square to both Mars and Chiron in the cardinal signs of Aries and Libra right now. But on the positive side, we also have Venus this weekend, forming an exact trine to Chiron in fire signs. Venus is in Leo and Chiron is in Aries. So, although we do have this energy that could very well be provoking some, or just like triggering, okay, some deep-seated wounds within us that maybe we haven't even been aware were there, and we have stuff going on, or people are saying things, or we just find ourselves in a situation where like these things are coming up. The Venus energy from the sign of Leo in the trine to Chiron is actually adding an ability somehow through whatever is playing out for there to be a level of healing also that comes along with whatever trauma we're experiencing. So with the Mars Chiron opposition, I will tell you guys, and we'll talk about this more as we get into the energy of Sunday, but this can definitely bring with it like legit wounding, okay? Pain, violence, conflicts that induce trauma somehow. And with the polarities also of Libra and Aries, these are likely to have to do with, social groups or partnerships or relationships. It's actually really interesting how this is coming together. We have Mars Chiron opposition going on with Mars in the sign of Libra, while we simultaneously have Venus ruling the position of Mars in the opposition to Chiron relationships coming into a square with Uranus. It literally is looking like some type of like pretty serious relationship conflicts that might be going on, leading to some type of abrupt changes or abrupt endings in relationships as we move through the energy of next week. I do have a feeling there's going to be a lot of breakups happening, but these are going to be breakups that need to happen because there is a toxic dimension or dynamic. There is control issues. Like there's a something that is inauthentic about whatever energy, whatever groups, whatever social circles, whatever relationships, whatever romantic relationships are breaking apart right now. It's because those relationships are not in alignment with what each person in that relationship needs to be supported to come into the best version, to activate the destiny, to find the potential, to find the courage, to overcome the weaknesses, to go through the journey of self-mastery that we're being called towards right now. If we are in a social situation that is preventing us from being able to essentially like answer the call of universe at this point in time, this is where the changes and the shakeups are going to happen to move us forward in these new directions. It really all fits together quite nicely. And moving into the energy of Saturday as well, there could definitely be a level of big news, big information, or some type of big idea that is shaking things up for us somehow as well. So that is like leading to whatever perhaps issues could be going on in relationships, and whatever changes therefore might result in relationships. But like I said, I do love the Venus trine Chiron while we have the Mars opposition Chiron, because yes, it's relationship dynamics, but it's almost like whatever like wounding or pain or issues are coming up in relationships now, yeah, they might be painful, but there also is some layer or element that is actually helping us to heal, or that is helping us to heal, to heal on some deep level, or to heal a broken heart in some type of a way. So it's sort of the energy for both, but there are just likely to be some painful things surfacing in relationships as we go throughout the course of the weekend. But also with the Venus Chiron trine, Chiron is all about money and wealth and resources as well. There could be some type of positive facilitating something happening in regards to money or valuables in the energy as it plays out this weekend as well. Venus in trine to Chiron and Leo brings a flow of heart-based energy to counter the ego wounds that could be sort of acting up in this energy and triggering conflicts in relationships as well. When we're talking about Chiron Mars opposition, there's a lot to it. On one hand, this energy can provoke more of like a spiritual warrior archetype, because in the mythology, Chiron was the teacher of all the great heroes. Chiron prepared them for battle and taught them the strategy, and had this level of wisdom and that was incorporated into the warfare that went on, in terms of those myths and those stories that carry forward into the archetypes associated with these planets. So there is a level of strategy and, spiritual warrior, wisdom as the mechanistic force behind what is happening and what is playing out when we have a Chiron Mars opposition going on. However, on the lower octaves of this energy, this is also wounding in relationships, with Mars in the sign of Libra ruling relationships, and Mars being the lord of the battlefield. Conflict and wounding in relationships, past wounding in relationships, and how have wounds from the past based on relationships impacted my own perception of self. Okay, what are the ego wounds that have resulted that could be being triggered in this energy and contributing to some of the stuff that is playing out? So that we've got all of that, and that again, like this Chiron energy, Venus trine Chiron, Mars opposite Chiron, this is a vibe that we're dealing with all weekend long. And on Sunday, Mars Chiron will actually find their exact opposition. And actually, in the energy on Saturday, this is really powerful as well. We're about to get into it because the moon will enter the sign of Capricorn, and as I said, we'll be squaring both Mars and Chiron, and they're very tight opposition with each other. So we've got all of that, and then we've also got this other energy that is coming through this week that, I've talked about, but I haven't specifically said, and, this is carrying us through next week as well. We are approaching the third Venus-Uranus square because of Venus's retrograde process, and we are also approaching the third Mercury-Jupiter square, which will come exact on Monday, but on Saturday is also really being highlighted by the position of the moon and these two in such close proximity that it's coming to a grand trine in earth signs. So let's get into it then, talking about this energy for Saturday. There is a big, this Mercury Jupiter trine energy, the third pass of it that we have coming up, and especially, with the moon hitting the trine this weekend, I do feel like we are likely to see some type of big viral moment or another sort of big viral moment on a collective level that really sheds light on something, captures the collective attention in a very big and significant way. It could be shocking, it could be about the past, and again, it could simultaneously trigger some type of major changes in relationship dynamics or financial situations somehow. But we are likely to see something that is having a very big impact, that is really capturing, like I said, the attention of the collective in a very significant way, that is very revealing, and that is viral, right? That it really is spreading sort of in a way that we just can't look away. So I feel like, and this could be starting, something to do with this could be starting in the energy on Saturday, but as we move into the energy of Monday next week, it's really likely to define whatever is playing out next week. We do also have Mercury, before I get into Saturday, at 12 degrees of Virgo on Friday. I wanted to say this as well. That Sabian symbol is a bride with her veil snatched away. So big news, big information. We're seeing the truth about something, and it could be triggering changes in relationships. Now moving into the energy on Saturday, everything I just said is still very, very relevant because we do have this earth sign trine, grand earth sign trine playing out with Jupiter and Mercury and the moon. When Jupiter and Mercury and the moon are together, this energy makes me laugh. It always makes me chuckle a little bit. It's I know people who have this energy natally, and it is the energy of just not being able to keep your mouth shut about stuff and just having a lot to say and having very little to no boundaries about like what comes out of your mouth. And when we have this energy applying collectively, there, and especially in these earth signs, there is just likely to be some big news, big information, significant messaging that is impacting us on both a mental and emotional level, causing sort of a cohesion or an alignment between what we're thinking and what we're feeling, but it's having this big significance. Now, this could definitely be good news about something because of the Jupiterian influence, the great benefic. It could be good financial news about something as well. Like I was saying, it's like in the energy that we had playing out for Friday, we have no idea what's going on. But once we get into the energy for Saturday, it's like this aha moment, or this light bulb goes off, or oh, suddenly, like, I have the clarity, I see the bigger picture, I understand, like, actually things are not as bad as I seem, actually that glass is really half full. People are likely to be very, like, kind of optimistic and positive about stuff. This is a very verbal day. People are likely to have a lot on their mind and talking about a lot, but again, it's likely to be in regards to relationship dynamics, to what's gone on in the past. There could definitely also be this element of, where I've been wounded, how it's impacted me, or finding out something also maybe like about the past that is different than what you thought it was, and it bringing some type of like emotional upset with it. There is a very strong Chiron influence that we have playing out on Saturday as well. But honestly, like with the big Earth trine revealing, insightful, something that everybody's talking about. This could have to do with money, resources, wealth, value, government, authority. The Sabian symbols are interesting. Some of the symbolism we have playing out on Saturday as well. We have Mercury on Saturday at 13 degrees of Virgo. That Sabian symbol is a powerful statesman, overcomes a state of political hysteria. And then we also have the position of Mars at 18 Libra, two men placed under arrest. So we could be finding out about something that, has gone on, that has been like not right, or just like out of line with integrity, like unjust, or, even like criminal maybe on one hand or another, that, gaining understanding about it in some way that helps us to overcome something, or to see maybe like a narrative or a rumor or speculation differently in some type of a way. But I find that to be very interesting symbolism that is playing out. And I do feel like whatever is playing out with this big, grand trine and earth signs, likely to be hitting on a macrocosm level. With the Mercury Virgo influence, this is going to be news. This is going to be headlines. This is going to be, what's being printed. Okay, so there's likely to be some type of like world scale macrocosm impact to what's going on. Also with the moon in Capricorn, this could have to do with government. This could have to do with authority. With Jupiter in the sign of Taurus, this could have to do with value, resources, investments, partnerships, food, assets, supplies, stuff like that, like from the past, but likely to gain some type of big revelation. Maybe this could also have to do with like, where like criminal behavior that took place financially in the past, maybe like on some type of high financial institution, government-based level or something like that we're gaining an awareness to, finding details out about that is really having like a big impact. Like that's the type of thing that could be coming with this. This could also, you guys, bring some really great ideas to like anything that hasn't been working, anything that has not been, like if we're trying to bring something to fruition and we've been experiencing like blocks or holdbacks, or like resources not like just not knowing exactly what to do to make it work properly, there could definitely be some big solutions that are coming through and being that we can implement in this energy as well. But whatever it is, it's likely to be significant. This could be important conversations, some like good or even like great news. Like I said, extremely positive mental and emotional states likely to be going on, amazing ideas, productive, fruitful, beneficial, very productive meetings. Whereas Friday was not the day where you wanted to try to like have a meeting with somebody, or like come to terms about something. On Saturday, this is a totally different vibe. We also have the sun, I can't remember if I said this or not, entering the sign of Libra on Saturday, which is putting an emphasis on relationships, on communication, on groups, on social settings and stuff like that. So again, like what everybody's talking about, Libra is an air sign. It's a very communication-based energy, sharing ideas, sharing information. So that's what I'm saying. Like whatever is coming in this earth sign trine, manifesting on the ground in our 3D environment, it's like we are talking about it. Like it's on top of mind. Like everybody's talking about it. So it'll be interesting to see, you know, what, if anything, manifests along those lines and the impact that it has moving into next week. Now, we got to go back and talk more about the Chiron energy coming through on Saturday as well, because we have another very strong Chiron influence, like I said, with our nice little Capricorn moon going on. Could definitely be pressing emotionally as well on some of these wounds, bringing up themes of self versus others. You know, maybe I would just be better off doing it on my own if I'm not accepted and these people don't understand me and they're always, you know, like putting me down or doubting my ideas and stuff like that. Like that's the type of stuff that we could also really be dealing with, that could be coming up in this energy. Where have we been controlled or limited or held back as a result of wounds that we've experienced, or, you know, just the relationship, group, context components of our lives? Power and control dynamics and relationships could really be coming up with this as well, with the moon in Capricorn, and where we've been victimized, of course, with the Chiron energy. Chiron rules our states of victimhood, our states of trauma, the terrible things that happen to us and the impact that they have. Chiron also rules our ability to overcome those things through recognizing the power that we simultaneously gain through the wounding and trauma that we experience. Trauma and stuff like that, like it never happens in isolation. You know, anything like that that we go through always has some type of strength that comes from it, that we gain from it, some type of wisdom or strength or internal power that we gain that we wouldn't have had otherwise through going through these horrible situations and conquering them. And then, you know, when we can see, okay, like, yes, this was a horrible thing that I never should have had to experience, although I did, and this is what I learned from it. And as a result of having learned this lesson, this wisdom is now my power that I can use to apply to my circumstances going forward to, you know, never have to go through something like that again. So I can actually at this point come to a point of being grateful for that experience. I can forgive the people who have hurt me, because really I have realized that through, you know, whatever terrible things they did to me, they also gave me this gift of wisdom and power that I wouldn't have had otherwise, that actually puts me on this greater level that helps me to navigate my reality in a much more powerful and conscious way moving forward, and not be susceptible to the same type of, you know, trauma-based subconscious programming or self-sabotaging cycles that would have, you know, that could magnetize me to be in more of these situations in the future. Okay, so it's actually, you know, on one hand, you know, when we experience these things, it's for the purpose, ultimately, once we figure it out, of helping us to gain a power, a superpower that we never would have had otherwise, to actually free ourselves from ever having to go through any experience like that again. And not only like in this time, but like in every lifetime moving forward. It is the hero's journey, okay? It's releasing ourselves from karmic loops is what we're doing when we're dealing with the Chiron energy. But of course, the first stage of that is the initial wounding. That's not the fun part. And so with the Chiron energy being, you know, Mars in opposition to Chiron, this is, you know, a serious press, a serious trigger on those wounds, and it could just really be coming up. But the Venus there, that is our saving grace. How are we healing our heart now? By the changes, Venus squaring Uranus pending, that we are about to make in the relationships. That's what it is. It's like this awakening to what we need to do to get ourselves out of these situations, to heal our heart once and for all, to keep us from falling back into a similar scenario in the future. And it's like suddenly like hitting us, this epiphany, like I'm going to change, like I am changing, and I need to like do it now. And, you know, it may be unexpected, but this is what we're doing, and it's very purposeful. It's moving me ultimately in a better direction. So we've got that, we've got all this Chiron energy playing out. However, we also have this very positive Jupiter Chiron moon energy that is helping us to get solutions, to see the bigger picture, to have a positive viewpoint and perspective, and, ultimately, hopefully, to be able to use this energy to heal more than to attach to, the pain or the wounding or the victimhood that may also be coming up. Now, moving into the energy on Sunday, this is the day when we have the exact Mars Chiron opposition. This is probably not the most fun energy. This could be a pretty intense day. We also have a moon Pluto conjunction in the end of Capricorn that is in a square with the nodes of the moon. Of course, we've been dealing for a while with Pluto squaring the north and the south nodes of the moon in cardinal signs. This is also telling us we're at a very transformative period of time right now. Endings and beginnings, especially in the context of group dynamics versus our individual path and where we're being called right now. This is really sort of like the highlight and where everything is again in the energy on Sunday. Something powerful inside of us, bringing the past and future into balance or into sort of like the crosshairs with each other somehow. Some powerful feelings within us acting as a tide of change, detaching us from the past version of ourselves and sort of beckoning us forward into the unknown. This could also be bringing up elements of like the known versus the unknown, like the comfort zone versus a need for something new, and like a feeling of adventure that's sort of rising within us as well. Element of personal power redefining the future and the past. It's probably a powerful day. There could be some powerful emotional responses, some powerful conversations that are going on. But again, like with a Mars Chiron opposition exactly in the sign of Libra, like this is just bringing up relationship conflicts, relationship issues. There could be some really heated fights, honestly, and even, there could be some violence as well. If you've got people in some very toxic situations, make sure you check on them and make sure that they're okay in the energy on Sunday, because that's just the type of thing that we are looking at. But this energy is also a catalyst for massive awakening and change in relationships as well. There's a huge level of mental stimulation, very high mental energy, craving novelty, craving change, something new and different, breaking away from like the pattern, like the mundane patterns that are monotonous and feel like they're not taking us anywhere. Like we're constantly on the same wheel. Like that is not what we want. Okay, moving into the energy of next week. So that could also be things that we're dealing with sort of coming up. But this is going to lead to changes in how we view ourselves and how we perceive ourselves and what we value and in who we want to be associated with moving through Libra season as well. Again, this is ultimately a weekend all about big news, big ideas, and sudden changes in relationships, breaking ourselves away from the groups that we've defined ourselves by in the past so that we can actually redefine ourselves in the context of like what we feel is true and right and authentic about and within us in correspondence to this collectivized personal mission that we are all feeling called towards at this point in time as well. So this weekend, ultimately, like I said, it's kind of all over the place. There could be a lot of hurt feelings going on this weekend. We could really be struggling with some ego issues, or people could be reacting in some kind of like violent ways or some just like very angry ways from a place of wounded ego with the Chiron Mars opposition. Like that is, classically, if we're gonna boil it down to like the key words there, Mars is ego and Chiron is wounding. So wounded egos and acting out in ways that disrupt the peace in relationships, but ultimately it's going to be for the purpose of, again, like freeing us from anything that is no longer resonating with who we know we really are, and we're getting a much better idea of as we move through this specific period of time. So big news, in relationship changes. That's the whole tea right now, you guys. And that's what I have to say. That's what I have to say about the energy for this weekend. Again, like Friday is the day that's all over the place. Probably a good day to maybe take a day off if you can, not get too involved in stuff. Saturday, pay attention to what's going on. Big news, big information, big ideas. Look for solutions, okay? You know, you can actively use this energy too to try to, you know, if there's a problem that you need to solve, or if you're looking for a solution about something, or if you need, you know, to understand something better. This is a really good day to actively assert yourself along those lines, to look for information, to do research, to dig for truth. But chances are with the trine energy, like things will just be falling into your lap, like something will just be presenting itself to you. And again, like it's likely to really be like capturing the mind of the collective. We're probably, this is I mean, it's the third pass of this Mercury, Jupiter trine and Earth signs. And each of these passes of Mercury, Jupiter have brought some type of viral information so far. So I'm expecting the same to happen with the one that we have coming up with this third and final, and the fact that the moon is there too. Grand trine and Earth signs, this is likely to be the big one, and of course Mercury is direct as well. So that's what I'm going to say, you guys, about the energy this weekend. Universe is taking the reins, and all this Uranus energy, things are just happening in the way they need to move us forward in the right direction, whether or not it's the comfortable direction for us right now. Let's get some advice and guidance, you guys. Let's get a synchronicity card. God, Spirit, Universe, what do we need to know? What's some additional advice that can help us? Let's see what it says. You can't change another. Exactly. This is exactly what I'm saying. The relationship dynamics and components of things. Like, we're not getting involved, okay? And if things seem like they need to change, if we feel like we need to go our own direction, if we feel like we need to take a step back, if we feel like this relationship has run its course and we need to sort of, you know, let it go at this point in time, there's a reason why you're feeling like that right now, and resisting or working against it is probably not for the best. Okay, you can't change another. Thou will keep him in perfect peace whose mind is stayed on thee, Isaiah 26:3. In your relationships with others, don't be possessive or try to make them do what you think they should do or act the way you think they should act. Never permit others to rob you of your peace of mind. Your peace and joy are in God and not in the words or actions of other people. Bless them and walk on. This is exactly what I was saying, you guys. People are likely to be triggered this weekend, acting out in relationships, and we need to mind ourselves, okay? We need to mind our own business, we need to mind ourselves, and we need to not allow whatever other people have going on to, you know, pull us out of our peace. And if relationships seem like they are coming to an end right now, we need to surrender to the process, we need to let it go, because I'm telling you, it will work out. Like, if it's coming to the end right now, it's for the best. We'll put it like that. So you can't change another, you guys. Very relevant advice for the way that the astrology is coming together this weekend. And that's what I have to say. I hope you guys liked it. If you did like it, please give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel. You guys share it with your friends if you think that they would be interested, like this type of astrology content as well. Leave me comments. I love your comments. I'm so grateful for all of you. I really appreciate knowing if you're having experiences that match up with what I'm talking about in these videos. If you are, please let me know in my comment section below. If you want to know what's on this whiteboard, I post them in a Facebook group that I have, which is linked in my description box below, along with my Instagram and Facebook page. And come back with me on Monday, you guys. We are going to be getting right into this Jupiter Mercury trine exact energy, and we'll have a lot more to talk about on our Monday show opening the week. So I will be here. You should be here too. You don't want to miss it. I will see you then, guys. Have a beautiful weekend, and until next time, bye.